with Paulie Malignaggi. We're here right after the press conference. Golden Boy announced the signing of Devin Alexander. We know you and Devin have had a little verbal battle on Twitter, plus on our website. I know I've written stories from both you guys.
It's a fact.
Where's that at now?
Well, escalated a little bit today. I mean, but you see Devin's the one that brings it up, right? You see that, like, today he was like, I know there's guys that were trash talking. You know, he's always the one, just like he started the internet war. He started this today, you see what I'm saying? And then I look like the bad guy, because you know I'm the kind of guy that you get a reaction out of. Emotionally, I'm a little bit of a firecracker, so they got me again. You see that? They got me again. Then I look like the bad guy. You imagine this shit? Man, come on, man. Look between the lines, people. It's not me starting this shit. But I will gladly fight Devin Alexander.
Now, we know you got a big fight coming up next month against Orlando Lara. Is it hard to concentrate on that fight, knowing that you might be able to get Devin, especially now that you have the same promoters?
You know, it's not hard because you can't get one without winning the other, you know. But if I'm the way I'm supposed to be, if I'm where I rate myself still, I should beat Orlando Lara. Coming in with 21 record, biggest fight of his career, so I'm sure he's going to be a little bit, you know, excited and probably give the best effort of his career. But so I expect the best possible Orlando Lara that can show up. But even still, you know, I'm coming in and I'm going to give the best possible Paulie Malignaggi myself. You know, I intend to keep training hard like I have been, and you know, show up and take care of business on the 15th of October. And hopefully we can move on to bigger and better things, such as possibly the guy who we just heard from, Devin Alexander. And also Richard Schaefer brought up a very, very interesting thing today at the press conference about a possible welterweight tournament. Man, that would be huge. Because then you get me and Devin, and you probably get me and a lot of other people, and Devin and a lot of other people, and other people against other people. It's one big orgy at welterweight.
It seems like they'd be able to put it together well, being that they have so many fighters under their umbrella. It's not as too many promoters
and it's good
involved.
styles. I mean, he mentioned names. He mentioned, obviously, me and Devin. He mentioned Lucas Ortiz. He mentioned Marcos Maidana. He mentioned, who else did he mention? He mentioned a few other guys. Yeah, Victor Ortiz, he mentioned. Maybe Andre Berto. Hey, listen, man. There's a lot of good fighters. All those names, that means a lot of good fighters. A lot of good styles matchups. And a lot of exciting fights. And the Super 6, the fights that did happen, I know you had a lot of pullouts, but the fights that did happen were good fights. So I think you get the same thing at welterweight, and I think it has a potential to be an even better tournament, you know what I mean? I think that crop of fighters against each other are all hungry fighters looking to still build something.
Plus, if they do it the Super 6 format, they've done it once now, so they know the kinks, the problems, so they can, you know, improve upon it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, they had some kinks in Super 6, but in the end, I mean, you had a pretty good tournament, and you have a pretty good final. You have a solid final in Andre Ward and Carl Froch, you know. So if you can only get better from that, that's a pretty good place to go, because the Super 6 to me was a pretty successful tournament, even if there were some road bumps along the way.
And your fight against Lara, I mean, not a lot of people know about him. What do you know about him? Have you seen him fight?
I probably know just a little more than anybody else, honestly. I mean, I just saw his fight with David Estrada on video just a few days ago. He tries to box. Estrada was just too strong for him, but Estrada's a big welterweight. You know, he's been in welter and junior middle. Lara's actually pretty big at welterweight because he's also put a junior middleweight. But he's not a physical guy like David Estrada was, you know. Estrada out-physicaled him, out-muscled him, and stopped him. And that's pretty much the only name on his record that I recognize. So, you know, he's never been at the very, very top of the sport level, competing against another top fighter, you know. So I assume, you know, he likes to box, but then again, maybe having seen that I'm not a big puncher, and he's physically the bigger man, and he's fought as high as junior middleweight, he might try to make it a little physical. You never know. So I got to prepare for anything. But I really am preparing for everything. I mean, this is why I train with Eric Brown at the Wild Card Gym. I mean, the sparring is great, my trainer's great, and the atmosphere is great, and I prepare for anything. But when I'm done in camp at Wild Card, man, I honestly feel like I'm ready to fight, man. And I think my last couple performances have shown that. You know?
And in New York, you have a pretty big following. I'm looking at your jacket with the Sicilian flag on there, and right Sicilia right there.
I represent Sicilia.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of Italians and Sicilians will go to your fights in New York, where there's a huge population. This fight's in LA. I think it's your first fight in LA. How do you feel about fighting on the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm fighting a Mexican in LA, so I don't I don't know how much love I'm gonna have. But hey, man, I'm also used to going to places where I'm not so loved and not so cheered for. But honestly, I can't really think about the crowd so much. I love fighting in front of my fans. I hope I can do it more often, and I hope I can do it a lot more in the future. Even Chicago, man. Chicago, when I fought Diaz, a lot of Italian people were at the fight. I mean, a lot of Mexicans too, but a lot of Italians, man. I would love to even head back to Chicago and get a fight out there too. So, you know, whether it's my fans or whether it's fans that are against me, in the end, it's still up to me to perform, though. And obviously, you always love being cheered more than you love being booed. But you know, you still got to stay focused and do the right thing and perform. And I think I have enough experience where I know what I got to do now.
And I've heard you say numerous times that your toughest fight was the Miguel Cotto fight.
Yeah.
What do you think about his rematch against Antonio Margarito?
Oh man, I think it's a good fight. I don't know if either of them are the same anymore. We'll find out. But I still think it's styles make fights, man. And those two guys, they're gonna sink their jaws into each other and really fight, man. I like it from an entertainment standpoint. I like it. I'd rather not see guys like that keep getting hit, because they've taken a lot of damage in their careers, but they still got something to give, man. I still think it's even if they're not in their primes, it's still a good fight, man. If I told you I wouldn't watch it, I'd be lying, because I'm sure as shit gonna watch it.
Do you think Cotto having Emmanuel Stewart in his corner this time will make a difference in the rematch?
I don't know. Sometimes those things help, and sometimes those things don't. I think Cotto's so well schooled and so refined in his technique that there's not too much more you can teach him. But maybe in the corner, if you have a good relationship with the trainer you have, you can refine certain things psychologically more so than physically. Because physically, Miguel Cotto has the tools he's going to have, and you're not going to teach him anything, but you also can't take away from anything from him. He's a very complete fighter. So I think from that standpoint, Emmanuel can help possibly in the corner, maybe a couple things in the gym from a psychological standpoint. But it's on Cotto, and Cotto always makes exciting fights, man. There's not a bad word I can say about Miguel Cotto. Okay. Really, I got all the respect in the world for him.
Yeah. You were talking about how you fight away from New York. Golden Boy has some plans for starting a fight show in New York, and you're a big part of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah,
how do you feel about
excited, man. Barclays Arena is not too far from my place in New York, and it's exciting because it gives me a chance to fight back in front of my fans in New York. It gives New York fans a chance to see big-time boxing on a regular basis because Barclays, they're going to do some pretty regular shows there and bring some pretty big fights there. And there's already a buzz going on about the Barclays Arena, bringing the nets over there. The arena and the facilities are going to be state-of-the-art, so to speak. I mean, they're building it, so I'm excited just to see the arena. And just to have big fights, it'll give New Yorkers an opportunity to see me in action as a New Yorker, other New York fighters in action as fellow New Yorkers, but also big fights in general. I don't think we're only going to see New York fighters in Barclays Arena. Right. I think we're going to see just big fights in general, and the New York public is going to be treated to some very good fights because Golden Boy Promotions always puts on good fights.
Yeah, but it must be exciting, you get a guy like a Devon who can go to St. Louis and draw a big crowd. It must be exciting for you to have that opportunity to maybe build that kind of a following in New York.
Absolutely, man. It's always exciting to fight in front of people that support you, obviously. People love to be loved, but at the end of the day, if you're a professional, you have to know how to be loved, and you have to understand also when you hate it, you still have to do your job, you know what I mean? I got love for both sets of fans, even you haters.
Hey, what's up with the Twitter war with your former promoter, Lou DiBella?
Oh man, I think we're actually trying to calm that down, man. I actually did an interview on the radio the other day, and on a Rope Dope Radio, and I said something. I said, it'd be nice if we just put this thing behind us. I think it's more of a difference of opinion than it is, a year later after all the break off and everything. We're both emotionally charged people, and sometimes as emotionally charged people, you react on whatever's on your mind in that moment. Haven't had a year to think about everything. I don't think I'm going to say I'm wrong. I don't think Lou's going to say he's wrong, but I think it's more of a difference of opinion, and sometimes that happens in life. People just have a different approach to things and a differences of opinion and the way things should be done or maybe might have had to be done and whatnot. But in the end of the day, I'm appreciative. I was able to make some money with Lou DiBella. Lou DiBella was able to make some money with me, and it could have been better. It also could have been worse. And that's what I basically said on the radio the other day. But I got a lot of respect for Lou, and we actually spoke on the phone the other day, and I think you're not going to be hearing about any more beefs between me and Lou, man. I think, and that's the way I prefer it. I'm a 31-year-old man, Lou's a 50-year-old man, and we spend a lot of time together working. And bygones can be bygones, man. You know what I mean? There's always going to be stuff we disagree on, man. We're two emotional people with very strong opinions. We're very stubborn. We're both Italian. This happens with Italians. But at the end of the day, why keep a grudge when you don't have to? You know what I mean? We both make money off each other. So in the end, if you look at it from that standpoint, it was a successful relationship, and just leave it at that, man. Leave it at that.
Do you have a message for the fans out there?
Come check me out October 15th. I'm opening up the pay-per-view, so better order that shit if you're not in LA, all right?
Hey, and I just found out you speak Spanish, so un mensaje para la fanaticada en español.
Oh, todos mis fanáticos en México, todos mis fanáticos que hablan español, ordínase mi pelea 15 de octubre en la catedral de Dawson y Hopkins. Ok, yo voy a ganar con un mexicano, pero yo voy a ganar también. Orlando Lora, y después tengo que hacer un año muy fuerte en el 2012 con más peleas grandes. Gracias.